So, welcome, Katalin, again with our Business by Nature forecast. Well, let's start with the question today. How are you? How are you feeling with this intense energies?
Yes, we have decided that we're going to ask each other now how we feel because
Yeah.
honestly, it is really, everything is manifesting also. We're all experiencing it, no? And we're all like, in a way, also informing each other about what is going on actually. So that's why it's nice to just become aware of these kind of like energies and how they are like moving in us. And I have to say that after quite some intense time that's been going on now for weeks, there's something in my experience which is ease. Like 2 days ago I just entered into this like space of ease, and that's Venus. It's like Venus has moved into Libra, so I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever is going on, I feel good. Like I'm at home, Venus is like at home in Libra, and she's like, she can just move very happily there. So I'm really feeling that. I'm really feeling the ease. And because I was thinking that today, I checked your chart, Coco,
Yeah,
and I
I'm kind of
noticed.
jealous at you at the moment, I think, because I do not feel ease at all. I'm feeling like exploded with 10 projects at the same time coming in. And I know we've talked about it a lot, like last couple of months, that things were very moving slowly for me. And I was kind of frustrated. And suddenly it's just, well, I'm all over the place, 10 projects happening. And I was what's going on? But you checked my chart, so yeah, we could
I
see
know
that,
what's going
right?
on.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw that this new moon is basically happening right on your ascendant. Like it's, I think, only just two degrees away from your ascendant, and Mars is just 1 degree away from your ascendant, from your rising. So that is really like the new moon is happening right like on your person, like you are kind of like embodying this new moon at the moment, and the energies of this new moon at the moment, and all these energies that are just moving at the moment. And it's a lot at the moment that is moving actually. So in the Scorpio charts, in the Scorpio part of our charts, and I'm sure that you're really feeling this very, very intensely, in the sense of exactly as you're saying it. There's so much coming in, like because the
Yeah.
sun is right there on your ascendant. There's like a spotlight on you, basically. That's what it means. And Mars is there too, so there is like really, fire and action and determination, and a lot of just movement, and maybe even competition and a challenge, and yeah, just a spotlight. So of course
Yeah.
that influence you. These are the beautiful things that we can do when we look into the personal charts. Then we're like, yeah, okay, it's just Mars on my ascendant. It shall
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And I also know like I'm entering my first house. It's just like really like, oh my God, reinventing myself again. And it's such a beautiful knowledge to know that, to notice it. And yeah, also somehow be able to work with it, knowing that it's just this time frame, it's not forever, it's just I need to get through this and I can work with it. I can present myself again in relationship to other people. And really, well, for me in particular, it really means like, well, focusing on my inner truth, and with that truth going forward. And well, I can go a lot into depth in my process, but it's, yeah, I find it really helpful, your words, and thank you for that.
Well, it is helpful, and it is also helpful, exactly what you're saying, to kind of know how to use it, no? Like how to use this energy. And if you are aware, like for example, if you're like a business person, if you're an entrepreneur, somehow you know that, sun is right now on my ascendant, and sun is moving
Yeah,
through my first house. That means exactly that. It's all about
yeah,
me. It's all about presenting myself. It's about branding, for example, no?
yeah,
So we can use these energies in order to move a little bit even more gracious in the flow
yeah,
of the
yeah,
energies of the moment.
yeah. So yeah, and we also have like a general energy to discuss, and that's the new moon in Scorpio. So intense times it is. So tell us, like, what does it mean, this new moon, and also what, of course, is else. But let's start with the new moon.
So I have actually a lot of very, very amazing things to share with you today. It's really a very special moment in time. It's a very special new moon. It's like really a new moon I'm really looking forward to. So we're recording this like 3 days before, or 2 days, 3 days before. So I'm very kind of like excitedly looking towards that direction, because it is really a new beginning. So, I mean, new moons are always new beginnings, but this now is like a very special new beginning in many different ways. Let's kind of just go through the general situation at the moment. So a lot of the things that have been in our way lately, a lot of the things that have been just a little bit like complicated and challenging lately, in the last weeks, in the last months, somehow also are really starting to break up. So that's what you're saying, no? Like so many weeks that you were like kind of impatiently waiting for, when does it start, you know, because somehow things were not coming together, and now like, oh my god, everything is happening at the same time. It's so much. So that's a little bit the situation of the moment. Like, we're having Mercury, the planet of communication, of like mental processes, that was basically moving with Mars in the last week. So, you know, thoughts were very heated up, like words were very heated up. There was conflict with others, there was internal conflict, there was like, you know, maybe a very hot kind of way to think about stuff, just thinking a lot of mind, and a lot of fire in the mind, that maybe kind of manifested in anxiety, in like, you know, self-undoing even, you know, like, you know, going into these kind of mental processes. And this kind of situation is kind of, you know, moving to again away from each other, so it's relaxing. Then Venus has been such a focus in the last like weeks and months. Even the last 2 eclipses have been ruled by Venus. Venus has been in a retrograde, so Venus basically for like since June, and if you're like counting the retrograde shadow even before, has not been really at ease. And Venus is the one that makes us feel at ease, that makes us feel just good with ourselves. Of course, especially also us being women, we are very much all influenced by Venus. Venus is the sacred feminine, you know. So and now since like Wednesday, we have Venus back in Libra, you know. She's at home in Libra, she's at ease, she can work really well. So she's like really kind of like, she's allowing us to just feel good with whatever is happening at the moment, and kind of gives us like a good inside feeling. So that is amazing. Mars is at home in Scorpio, so also that is a good thing, you know. And then the ruler of this whole new moon, Pluto, has been basically in a square with the nodes for basically the last half year. What does that mean? It means that it was kind of like in between the past and the future, you know. It was between karma and dharma, and we were like, you know, as Pluto being in the middle of it, asking to transform all the time. There was things where we were like, okay, we have to move through this, we have to change this, you know. It's like a karmic thing, you know, like where patterns from, you know, not just early lifetime, but past lifetime, like personally, generationally, collectively, we had to transform. It's kind of like moving apart, and we are kind of going again towards the last degrees of Capricorn with Pluto, so we can move into Aquarius again at the beginning of next week. So this is also a relief, and Saturn is direct since last week, so also that is a relief. So a lot of things that have been going on now in the last weeks and months are opening up for this new moon. So the way starts to open, and not just slowly. The way now is like it's an eruption. It's a new moon, but it feels like a full moon. Like normally, you know, new moons.
Thank you for saying that, because I was really like, how is this happening? Like normally it's like, this is really full moon energy. And so how can this new moon relate to this eruptive energy?
Well, the thing is that, you know, the new moon is like in aspects that are just very hot. So the new moon is basically, hold on, I'm just having here I'm having something else here on the, yeah. So the new moon is basically, right next to Mars. So we have the new moon occurring on 20 degrees Scorpio, and we have Mars on 22 degrees of Scorpio. Okay. So that means Mars, the warrior, the like raw fire energy is right next to that new moon. So it gives the whole thing like an urgency, you know, there's fire, there's determination, there's action, there's a will also in this whole new moon. And then the new moon is happening opposite Uranus. And Uranus is the planet of disruption. Uranus is the planet that can just, you know, Uranus is a planet that rules earthquakes, you know, in some way. So it is really like Uranus brings sudden change. It brings innovation. It's a lot about like new energies, you know, like Uranus as like the mythological figure is like the Prometheus, you know, the one that brought the fire. So now just imagine what meaning this has. So Uranus is the planet that just, you know, from one moment to the other, humanity has fire. Just think about it. What does that mean? What kind of change, what kind of innovation is in that thing? And it happens with just one thing, you know, Prometheus stealing the fire from the gods and bringing it to the humans, kind of like handing it over to you and say, here, human, now you have the fire. So think about it. What big of a change that means. And we have this Uranian energy right opposite of the new moon, of the sun and moon at the same time. So we are in this like really very, very, very high energy field between Mars and Uranus, where a lot of things can happen very fast, very strong, and can change things in a very, very, very radical way. And that of course brings us a little bit more towards like this energy of a full moon rather than a new moon, which it actually
beautiful. So yeah, we can just expect a little bit of a kind of explosion. And what else? Like, what are the main themes of this moon? Like, if you can just put a few words on it.
I mean, the most important thing about this new moon is because Mars is right there next to the new moon, this is really about action. This is about asserting yourself. Mars is the warrior. Mars is the one that does not wait for permission. Mars is the one that does the first step. So this I'm saying full moon, but this new moon has a huge potential of changing your life, of liberating you, because that's what Uranus does. Like all the disruption that happens through Uranus happens in order to liberate. Liberty, like freedom, is always like the kind of main goal of Uranian energy. And as Mars is involved, it's about my action. No, it's about like what I do. So how I can change something about my situation. That's the question of this full moon. How can I change something about my situation? How can I assert myself in living the life of my dreams? What can I do in order to create the circumstances in order to live that life of my dreams? No? Also, how can I bring more excitement into my life? So this is a very, very high and powerful energy. And you can use it, you know, you can use it, or you can just let it pass, or, you know, and not use it, or wait for something to happen from the outside that brings this energy into your experience, which can totally happen too. But the potential that is there is really about my own action. And sometimes it's, you know, sometimes there's moments where you say, you know, like step back and have things happen. This is not one of those moments. This is certainly a moment of like, first of all, because we are still in Scorpio season, right? So the big question that I, you know, need to ask myself is, what do I actually need? Like, what do I need to liberate myself from? What is holding me back? What is actually holding me back to be the liberated version of myself? No, what pain, what trauma, what scarcity mind, all of these things do I want to transform inside of myself in order to feel the abundance that is there, always available for me, but it's me blocking my own way. and what holds me back from feeling really worthy? So these are the questions that, you know, I think it's a nice way to spend this new moon of asking myself really these questions, because Scorpio season is really that. It gives us the opportunity to dive into our kind of underworld, and now everyone talks about underworld and talks about shadow work, and like, and then, you know, sometimes you ask yourself, yeah, what does that mean? What does it mean to go into my underworld? Well, exactly that, you know, to kind of examine inside of myself what holds me back, why do I think I'm not worth, why do I think I cannot do that, what kind of excuses do I find? Well, if that was not there, I could have like a successful and happy life. Well, the thing is, we always have the power to co-create, no, and to create also our circumstances. And with this new moon, very specifically, we have a big blessing in order to just one moment to the other change our situation to the good. There is that potential, there is that possibility.
Thank you for just explaining that to us, and also for your powerful questions. I think they're really beautiful to contemplate on. So I will just put all the questions underneath the video so people can really just write a little bit on it as well, contemplate a little bit on it as well. And I think I also see this point in time perhaps a little bit as a kickstart, fire start point for the rest of next year, to really dive deep into your personal longings, and to really see like, what do I deeply in myself what wants to shift, but also like really be very, very truthful to your personal desires. So you can use that in a very powerful way as some kind of like, kickstart into the new year. So it feels a little bit for me that as well, of course, due to my personal chart, but also in general, because we're now entering wintertime, dream space, like in the northern hemispheres. Like, so I think it's a very important time to take that also into account. That's some kind of a kickstart point for level up next year, go into the dream space, and take yourself very seriously in that kind of sense.
Definitely, you know, this is Scorpio season. Scorpio season is really about being very truthful to myself, and being really like, what do I want? You know, like truly, what do I want? What's my desire? From what kind of space is this desire coming from? You know, like, who am I? And yeah, these questions that I have asked before, that's really a Scorpio topics. And Scorpio now has been like, this is also a very important moment, because Scorpio has been like, in the last 2 years, there has not been like a clean kind of moon for Scorpio, because there has been the South Node in Scorpio for the last like 1.5 years. There have been eclipses happening in Scorpio for the last 2 years. So there has always been kind of like a release, because South Node means release. So we have been like working with the kind of the part that Scorpio is placed in our chart now, in our personal chart, of course, collectively also. We have been like really working, and it has been challenging, and there has been, you know, just things coming up. And now for the first time we're clean, you know, because the South Node now has moved into Libra. So it is a new start, and it's a new start in so many ways. It is a new moon, which is always a new start. It is a new moon that is happening in Scorpio for the first time after like 3 years, that it is without an eclipse and without any kind of like troublesome, I'm saying now troublesome, of course, all trouble at the end is liberation. But I'm just saying to make it clear like what kind of situation we are in, no? So it's the first time that we are in a clean kind of environment in order to start new, you know, after the clear out. Like 2 years now, we have been clearing out this area of our chart that contains Scorpio. Now we can have a like fresh start there. And then there's something absolutely amazing happening in the week after the new moon on the 17th of November. We have a Mars Cazimi in Scorpio. So this is another beginning. Like the Cazimi, it is the moment when a planet is conjunct, meaning together with the sun. Cazimi is it's an Arabic, beautiful Arabic expression that means in the heart of the sun. So the Mars is going to be Cazimi, the sun, and that means there's like a huge it's a magical moment. And of course, you know, it gets infused with the energy of the sun, Mars, and a new cycle starts. And this is very, very exciting because it's a new cycle that starts like at home in Scorpio. Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio, you know, so it's like so many new beginnings, so much fresh energy, so much clearance, you know, so much like clarity, so much potential to really clear something out and start new and really transform and move on, because Mars is really about, it's about a new adventure, it's about a new action, it's about a new chapter where I'm asserting myself, how I'm asserting myself. So it very, very, very much is exactly as you have just said, Coco. And you say for you it's more extreme because it's like, you know, hitting you personally, but that means that you are like the best spokesperson for this moment also to inform us like what this is about, you know. So this really is a fantastic opportunity for starting new, and the new start is happening in the underworld, in my underworld, in like my guts, really there where I am my raw self. And I have the possibility to connect with my raw self and to really be the very authentic version of myself, and to be very real and authentic with my desires, with my truth, and taking it out and acting upon that.
Beautiful. And I want to go one step deeper even, because I feel it really in my womb space, even like birthing a new reality, like that we have now the capacity of birthing a new reality for the coming, well, perhaps even 2 years. So again, here, I think it's so important, again, speaking truth, also really fire up your fire energy and really your deeper desires, like really go for it. So for example, that you said to me based on my charts, of course, so it's a little bit personal but also collectively, like don't be afraid, just go for it, like, you know. So it's that fire energy, I think it's a very important thing as well, right?
It is an important thing. And the thing is like don't be afraid, in the sense of become aware of your fear and take away the fear. It's time to let it go. That's what Scorpio does. That's what Pluto does, no? And liberate yourself by just don't doing that thing anymore, by letting go of that thing, by making that decision. You know, we all have our things that we are working with. What is it that you know that is standing between you and your liberation? Take it away, and you will liberate yourself and the other one. And of course, it is collective also. I mean, like what I just said, you know, this the ruler of this eclipse, it's not an eclipse, but it's powerful. It's not an eclipse anymore, but it's very powerful. But the ruler of this new moon, Pluto, it is between the nodal axis, you know. So that means that we are really working on something, like very, and on a collective level, we are very much letting go of some past patterns, and we are moving towards a better version of ourselves. And for that, we are transforming, and we are transforming, you know, history always by transforming personally. So I liberate myself, I liberate the one who is related to me, and I liberate the collective, you know, where everything goes through our personal work, you know, very, very, very much so. And this new moon, it's about transformation. It's Scorpio. It's about change. It's about, and yes, it's about personal action. Even though I would like to just send out a little like warning, because yes, the fire energy is very, very important. You know, it is important for me to know what I'm, you know, what my desire is, what am I burning for, what's the real me, what's the authentic me, what's the version of myself that I have been, you know, neglecting, but you know, that version that society is afraid of, or you know, whoever is around you that kind of puts you down a little bit, is afraid of. So yes, it's very much about that. At the same time, just a little warning, you know, it is also a very, like, it is a knife, you know, and we are always like, it is a very power, like Mars in Scorpio is a knife, especially at it was with Mercury all the last week. So it is a very hot moment in time, you know, and it can of course also come out in very kind of hot ways, and in very you know, it's good to not react too much. Like, the question is not what does the other one do to me, you know, like the question is not because we can, like, this is shadow trait Scorpio sometimes, that we're looking at the other one and we're becoming jealous or envy, or we blame someone. It's them, it's their fault, they are between me and my liberation. No, it's your fear, it's your limitation. It's never the other one. So this is something very, very important, to not fall into the trap of like somehow putting anything of this towards another one. So please don't do that. And if you feel that someone else is doing it, please delay your reaction. This is one of those moments where it's really good to just breathe a little bit and to be aware of what kind of energies we're dealing with here. It's not the other one, it's you. And you have it in your hand what you can do to change your situation.
Beautiful. Thank you for your beautiful words, Katalin. So we have covered like the new moon and the Mars Cazimi. Is there anything else you want to share with us for the coming 2 weeks? Well, when we move forward to full moon again.
I mean, we have talked about the Mars Cazimi, no? The Mars Cazimi, which is really this amazing, amazing point in time where we can really become aware of like, what is my motivation? What's my drive? Where's my action? And we are entering a new cycle, you know? And now the question is, what is your next adventure? You know, where do you want to assert yourself? Where do you want to, like, you know, act upon? And it's such a powerful moment. It's like such an amazing moment to work with, because Mars is about action. You know, Mars is a planet that gives us a power. You know, there's other planets that work very differently, you know, but Mars is a planet where I can actually actively do something in order to create my reality. And because it is such a special moment that, you know, allows us to do something to create my reality, I would like to really make this, I would like to make a special offer for like your clients, Coco, to really work with this and to work with this in the personal charts, because this really depends on where, you know, on your different kind of placements. Where is that in your chart? Where is that falling in your chart? Which area of life does it concern? You know, what's helping, what's challenging? And it's really a moment to work with this Mars energy to become aware of how can I, you know, be part in the creation of my reality to change it to a better. And I would like to offer you for this next 2 weeks until the full moon, the possibility to work with Mars in your charts and to work with the Mars Cazimi, which is happening on the 17th of November with me and the stars.
Cool. So I think I will put all the contacts things underneath the video, and people can already direct contact you if they want to, or email me, doesn't matter. And they can book a session. And I think it's a very interesting session to do, especially if you feel a little bit stuck, or if you have a lot of questions like, okay, where do I want to go, or where should I put my action? Where's my action button? So yeah, I think it's a really beautiful offer, Katalin. Thank you very much for that. And we will put all the contact details underneath the video or underneath the Spotify account, and you can really already contact Katalin. I think it's a beautiful offer. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're so welcome, you know, because Mars is something like, I have Mars quite strong in my chart. So I have also personal kind of, I have had my journey with Mars. And what I have really learned with Mars is that, you know, there are energies that, you know, that are there and that are, you know, you can take them, you can leave them, but there are some energies that need to be expressed. They need to be channeled. And Mars energy is exactly that. If you're not channeling your Mars energy, it's such a powerful energy. Like if you repress it, you're gonna get depressed. It's really true. If Mars energy is not expressed, then it's causing harm. It's causing harm in the body, it's causing harm in the psyche, it's causing harm in the experience of, like, in my experience. But when it is expressed, and when it is expressed healthy, and when I'm creating a healthy relationship with this kind of energy, it is the ultimate force of creation. It is the ultimate force of, like, action, you know. And it's also the expression of sacred masculinity, you know. So I feel it has been, you know, it's a healthy Mars energy has been, like, repressed in many ways. And I feel we are, with so many other things also, like with this thing, we are really on the verge of, like, a new time where especially also we as women can really empower ourselves and regain our perspective with using Mars and using our, like, healthy male energy, which we also have, in order to move, in order to create, in order to change our reality, and in order to express what's moving through me, you know, and in order to stay healthy, stay vital. So Mars is really a very, very important energy, and I'm very happy to being able to kind of, like, you know, support if someone feels the call.
Yeah, it's super cool. Well, thank you very much, Katalin. Well, I think we have discussed a lot today. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap up. I want to thank you very, very much for this conversation. A lot of beautiful information. I love the questions, so I will work them out underneath the video again or underneath the description. So I would suggest, if you love them as well, please take notes. Please just contemplate with them this new moon. And well, let's see what will unfold the next coming 2 weeks. And we speak each other with the full moon again. Thank you.
I can't wait to ask you the question, how do you feel today, Coco, in 2 weeks?
Please do.
It will be very different.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.